Good morning. My name is Debbie Corbett, and I'm a fitness and wellness specialist too with Memorial Health System. Part of our Move series again, and today we're going to go over shoulder mobility and hamstring mobility. We're going to check and see where our range of motion is now, and then I'm going to give you some stretches and some exercises to do to improve those. Very important for that quality of life to keep good shoulder and hamstring mobility. So the first thing we're going to do, I have a mat on the ground. You can lay on a towel, you can lay on a rug, whatever you're comfortable with. But we're going to lay in a prone position or belly down, and we're going to check and see what our shoulder mobility is. So as I'm down here, I'm going to lay my forehead on the mat, extend my arms out, and I should be able to lift them. Then I turn the hands, and I should still be able to lift. I cross the hands and should still be able to lift. Now, there are people out there that have already lost that range of motion. So that's just a little check you can do to see how you're doing without arching the back, without lifting the feet. Just lift those arms up in that prone position, forehead down on the floor. So, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you an exercise that will help to improve your range of motion, or if you have shoulder pain, should help relieve some of that. And I've got 3 different objects here that you can use. Now this is something one of our members brings in because he has had physical therapy and this is what they've told him to do. You can use any type of stick. This one I feel is a little too long for my body size, but it's going to be fine for me to show you. I keep the upper arms in, the elbows in, and I simply push side to side and don't let those upper arms come away from the body. So this is a good thing to loosen the shoulders up, but is also going to help relieve some pain and give you better range of motion. Now, if you don't have any sort of stick, but you do have tubing or some sort of a band, it can be the wide flat bands, the resistance bands as well, I can use this, arms in, pull side to side. This is a better size for me. I can get greater range of motion on this, and I'm pulling on the band, creating resistance. If you don't have anything like that, but you do have a resistance band, maybe with handles, maybe with not, really doesn't matter. Same thing here. We're going to pull side to side, increasing that range of motion, but I am using resistance as well with that band. All right, now, hopefully you participated with me there and got those shoulders loosened up a little bit. If you haven't, just put your hands on your shoulders, take those elbows around in circles, slow and increasing the size of the circle, and take it in reverse. Now with hands still held, bring those elbows in, open them back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. This is just a good warm-up before we get into the next exercises. All right, we're going to go down to the floor, and I'm going to do this from a side position for you. I'm going to show you 2 different ways this exercise can be done. So, the more advanced movement, soles of feet together, legs out in a butterfly position, hands go behind you with fingers pointing away from the body. Now you want the hands fairly close together. You don't want them out wide. Keep them in, but open the chest and point those fingers back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift the bottom and slowly push forward and then drop it down as close to the heels as you can get it. In this position, you want those knees open, but now you want to open up that chest. And when we do that and we look up, we can really feel it through the shoulders and the chest. Now release it. Now I'm going to show you the other way if that's too much range of motion for you. You're going to start in that butterfly position, fingers pointed back, and you're simply going to walk it back. Then open up that chest, push your chest up towards the ceiling, lift your chin and look upward. Hold it there,
try to keep those knees open. They're going to want to pull up. Try to keep them open. Now, whenever I've done that in my class, people said they feel it in their elbows. Well, what that's telling you is you have some restriction there. So make sure the body is warmed up well before you do these exercises. All right, the next one, we're going to lie on our side. Knees are bent and arms are out straight from the shoulders, head down. Now, palms are together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that top arm, which is my left, keeping my knees squeezed tight together. I am going to reach that arm up and open. Now, if I have good range of motion, I should be able to keep those knees together on the floor and get both shoulders down. And then bring it back up, roll over again. Let's repeat that. Take it open, nice and slow. Only go to where you can. You might not be able to get those shoulders down, but with practice with this, your range of motion will increase. Again, notice my knees do not come apart. So as I go to open, if I have to lift that knee up or even both knees, then I needed to stop here. Wherever you can go with knees together and them staying on the floor is your stopping point. You don't want them to lift. Take a couple of deep breaths in that position. Abs are squeezing tight. You can feel this through your abdominal area and the obliques. One more time on this side. Opening that chest, stretching those shoulders. Bring that arm back up, all the way over. Now let's swing around and see what the range of motion is on the other side. Knees are pulled forward, tight together. Arms are out in front of you. Your head is all the way down. Now lift that top arm, nice and slow, straight up. Now roll it open. Our goal is to keep those knees down on the floor, squeezing together, but both shoulders opening up so they're touching the floor. Now again, remember, if your knees start to pull up or open up, that's where you want to stop. You want to make sure to keep the knees together and touching the floor. Take it up and over. So when you're doing these, in order to improve your flexibility, your range of motion, I would do a couple of sets of maybe 8 repetitions. And we never want to do these fast. You want to do them slow, stopping at that point where you're compromising your form. This side's a little bit more difficult for me. I did have a shoulder tear, actually between the shoulder and the bicep a few years ago. So this is something I should be practicing on a regular basis to make sure that does not happen again. Let's repeat that one more time. And back up. All right, now the next one is a little bit of a strength activity. I'm going to walk over here and grab a dumbbell. Now in this one, we're going to do a plank, and this is a strength activity to improve the strength through the shoulders. So I'm going to get into a plank position, and then I'm going to reach my opposite arm from the dumbbell underneath me and drag it through. I put that hand down, I reach with the other hand, grabbing that dumbbell and dragging it through. Now, if you don't have a dumbbell, you can use any object because they all have weight to them. I'm using that shoulder. I do turn my hand in different positions to make sure I am hitting that shoulder from different angles. All right, like I said, that takes some strength. That is also a great exercise for the core. So if you're not to the point that you can do that, I prefer people not compromise that form and come down on knees and slide it through. It does not do the same for the body. So until you can get up and hold that full plank and drag it through, I would skip this one. You'll get there over time. All right, now a couple of stretches for those shoulders. The first one, most of us know, but we're gonna take the arm across the front of the body, pull it in, drop the shoulder. Now, I see people do this, and this is what I see a lot of. Keep that shoulder down, stretching those muscles. I am pulling the arm, not the elbow, in towards my chest. Squeezing my abdominal muscles, feeling that stretch through the back of the shoulder and along the arm. Now release it, bring it down. Do the other side. Shoulder down. Couple of deep breaths to get those tight muscles to release. And let's repeat that on each side. You know, shoulders are one of the things we see a lot here in the Wellness Center that are either torn or irritated. People have flare-ups, they have pain. So learning these exercises, learning these stretches is only going to improve your range of motion and reduce your risk of injury. All right, now we've done across the front of the body. Before we do the back, I would like you to put your fingertips on your IT band or where the seams of your pants would be, and we're gonna do shoulder rolls backwards. Now you wanna keep these slow, and we're gonna over-exaggerate the backward and the downward movement. Why do we do that? Because all day long, we use bad posture and we round those shoulders. Through the stress of life, we raise those shoulders. So I never have anybody do these in reverse. All day long, we're already going like this, so I feel there's no need to move them in that direction. Over-exaggerate the backward and the downward while keeping fingertips on the sides of those thighs. Now, we're gonna take the arm to the back. So it's going to come across. You're gonna take the opposite hand and grab the wrist and then gently pull, getting that stretch through the shoulder and the trapezius. The trapezius runs from the neck to the shoulder, and that's where we carry a lot of tension in our day-to-day lives. Whether you're sitting at a computer, whether you're working in the garden, whether you're just doing house cleaning, we create knots, tension, blockages through that trapezius, so it needs to be stretched out. We're going to change sides. Remember, muscles have memory, and if we spend day in, day out creating the memory to shorten those muscles, they get knots in them. Then we end up with a reduced range of motion, but also a lot of tension, headaches. So we want to make sure that we're constantly paying attention to our shoulder mobility. All right, now we are going to move into hamstrings. Why is mobility of hamstrings so important? Well, as I've said in many of my videos and to all of my classes, I am a firm believer that 90% of back issues do not start as back issues. They start as shortened hamstrings. Hamstrings being tight all day long, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, whether you're going up steps, whether you're working out, hamstrings shorten. Well, everything's connected, and when those hamstrings shorten, they pull on the hips, they pull on the knees. Before you know it, you have lower back issues or hip issues or knee issues, and a lot of that can be avoided if you just pay attention to the length of those hamstrings. Give them a little bit of time to stretch them out. So the first thing we're going to do is just check what is your current mobility in those hamstrings. So we're going to stand with feet about hip width apart, toes pointed forward, and what I'd like you to do is get an arch in that back. We're not rounding over, we're not tipping that pelvis backward. We're actually going to push the bottom out, get that arch there, and I want you to go forward as far as you can, not losing that arch. If you notice, I have one hand placed on there, so I can feel that arch and make sure I'm not losing it. Now, in order to keep that, I've got to push my chin forward and open my chest. Now we're just going to hold it there for a moment. Can you get your legs straight. Can you straighten those hamstrings? I see so many people that are always in this state when we bend forward. Can you straighten them and lengthen that torso while maintaining that low lumbar curve? Now, come back up the same way. And we're going to repeat that. Your goal is to get those legs straight. Those knees are locked out on this, lengthening and stretching. You have to bend the knees. You have already lost range of motion, and over time, you're running the risk of hip issues, low back issues, and knee issues. So we're going to repeat this. Keep that arch in the back, keep a hand there, so you feel that, so you don't go any lower than you can while maintaining that. Now hold it there, feel those hamstrings lengthen, and slowly come up. Again, we want to do this in slow movement. Nothing quick here. We're lengthening. When you move a muscle quickly, it's going to shorten. When you take your time and you focus on breathing, that's when that muscle gets a signal from the brain to lengthen. Again. So this is a great exercise to increase range of motion safely. If you notice, I'm not bouncing. We don't want a ballistic movement, which means to bounce. And you don't want to hold your breath. Again, being aware of that low lumbar curve and not losing it. And come up. Now every time I come up, I squeeze my glutes and I make sure the abs are tightened. Very important for your safety. All right, the next one we're going to do is we're going to go out into a push-up position. And we're going to walk those hands backward and touch the toes. All right, so we're in this position. Now I want you to walk backwards, trying to get those heels down and hamstrings straight. Hands go on top of the feet, and you walk it back out again. Slowly allowing those heels to lift. Hold that position. Now walk it back again. Again, this is a great strengthening exercise for the upper body, the core, but we're really stretching and elongating the glutes through the hamstrings. Hold it there, squeeze the abs, walk it back. So if you can't get the hands to the feet, you know you've got a shortened range of motion. Legs should be straight when you come back. Walk it back. And walk it back out. We're going to do one more. Walk it back. Push those heels down. Straighten those legs. Now bend your knees. And slowly roll up. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bend forward with a rounded back. Now, whenever we do this, we're going to grab to your furthest extent. Some people, it's going to be calves. Some people, it's going to be the back of the ankles. But you're going to grab on and you're going to pull and create resistance. So I'll turn sideways for this. Feet are apart on this. Not as wide as if you're going to do a deep plie squat, but not hip distance. A little farther than that. Slight turnout in those feet. Now, I'm going to tuck the chin and begin to contract the abs and round over. When I get as low as I can go, I reach around the back, grab on, whether it's shin or ankles, and I pull that chest downward. Now, I'm still keeping those legs straight. Don't bend the knees. If you have to bend the knees, don't go as low. And I release slightly, and then I pull again, creating that resistance, pulling that chest down, lengthening those hamstrings, loosening up behind that knee. I release again slightly, and then I pull again. Now, you're going to reach forward, bring the palms together, and go down into a yogi squat. Now, if you can't get in this position, that's fine. You go to where you can go. But this is great strengthening and mobility for the ankles, the hips, the knees, the back. Then I roll back up. Now I'm going to turn around and face front. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. You want to repeat this 4 to 8 times whenever you're doing this to increase your range of motion. And I would do these exercises at least 3 times a week, especially if you notice limited range of motion. All right, so now I round the back, I squeeze the abdomen, I tuck the chin, I roll over. My feet are rooted and grounded. I have every toe touching the floor. I go as low as I can while maintaining that straight hamstring. Then I grab on and I pull the chest down. Don't bend through the knees. Straighten the legs. Release. Grab again, pull down. Now if you can only get to behind your knees, that's fine. You work where your range of motion is now and you'll see an increase. Release. One more time, pull that chest down. Straighten those hamstrings. Now hands come front and we go down into our yogi squat. Hold it there. Great for those ankles, great for the knees, great for the hips. And roll up. All right, one more time. Roll it down. Tuck that chin. Squeeze those abs. Roll down slowly. Keep the hamstrings straight. Only go as low as you can, maintaining that straight line. We're pulling, creating resistance. Now release. Pull and create resistance. Now release. One more time. Pull. Push that chest down. And release. Back comes up. Hands come forward. Pull them in. And drop it down. Notice my elbows are on the insides of my legs, not resting on top. They're not on my knees. And release. And roll up. Now, if you looked at that and you thought, I can't ever get in that position, number one, don't deny yourself the opportunity to improve. Don't say can't. I didn't used to be able to do that yogi squat either, but I have been working on range of motion in my hips, flexibility in my hamstrings, and now I can go down there. As long as you keep practicing these exercises, you will continue to move forward. You're reducing your risk of injury and maybe skipping out on some surgeries you might need down the road if you take care of your body right now. All right, we have one other one I want to show you for hamstrings, and this one you want to progress to. It's not something you want to jump right into, but we're going to load the hamstrings. So this really isn't a very heavy dumbbell. If I was actually doing this in my time, I would use a 15 or 20 pound dumbbell. But you want to step up on some sort of a bench or a step. It could be the bottom step on your staircase. Don't do it midway up or at the top. Bottom step, and then you would face outward. So if the steps are going up behind me, I'm standing here, I'm facing to the floor. Feet are in parallel, they're hip width apart, and we're going to take that weight and you are going to go forward with that arch in the back, letting that weight slowly pull you down, keeping the hamstrings tight. Go as low as you can with that nice extended torso. Now release it and hang all the way down. Now bend your knees and slowly roll up, squeezing through the abdomen. And repeat. This is loading the hamstrings. We're adding weight to increase our range of motion. Drop the head. Bend your knees. Slowly roll up. Tuck that chin. One more time. Arch in that low back, low lumbar curve, hamstrings straight, and then you release and curl down. Now, if you can only get to here, you hang out there, but let the tension out of the neck. This weight will help to stretch out those hamstrings. You can get all the way to the floor, that's fine too. You are still loading the hamstring by slowly carrying that weight down to the floor. Bend the knees, squeeze the abdomen, slowly roll up through each and every vertebrae, and chin comes up. All right. Well, I hope you got something out of that today. I am showing that because I see so many people come in that have to have knee surgeries or already have had them, or a hip replacement, or a shoulder replacement, or shoulder tears repaired. If you take care of your body will take care of you, but you've got to put the time in. Trust me, doing these exercises is going to benefit you and be so much easier than going through a surgery. I hope you learned something. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for joining this Move series. I get great comments from people. Thank you. I love to hear the input. I love to hear what you would like to see me do on here. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll be back next Friday. Bye-bye.